Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady and I am in the Rose Garden at the JCRA Arboretum right now. And even though I am not a rose person at all, I do find them to be kind of irresistible at this time of year when they're blooming, especially these ones that actually smell like a rose is supposed to smell. And so I've got a prime example here behind me. This is Banian? I'm not sure, but it's awfully pretty and it is so fragrant just standing right here. They've got a bench right here. I would love to just like eat lunch and hang out, but I thought it would be kind of fun to give you a quick tour around their beautiful rose garden, which is really unique in that it's not just roses. They actually have it filled with lots and lots of other plants that to me make it more interesting year-round. So even when the roses aren't flowering, this garden still is outstanding. The rose garden here at the Ralston Arboretum is relatively new. It's been under construction for the last few years. They're certainly battling rosette virus, and I love that they have signage to be able to inform visitors on kind of better practices for growing roses. And just to show off here, this amazing, I think this is a Ragucci. Yes, it is, Clematis Ragucci. Really cool little clematis. And you just see in here that mixed in with all the roses are, you know, things like alliums that are blooming and crinums and, you know, lots of different perennials that maybe haven't started to bloom just yet. I love the incorporation of, you know, abelias, and there's just so much in this space that makes it dynamic, that even when these beautiful roses aren't flowering, this is one called Oswinter, this garden is still super interesting. And I think that's really, hopefully that's the key or the goal now for other public gardens to display their roses more intermingled and help, you know, reduce some of the huge disease issues that roses experience. Having them all segregated in one spot is kind of what leads to problems, monoculturing. And here's an example, that's rosette. You know, once a plant gets rosette, it just needs to be pulled out. There's not really a cure for it, but rosette is only one of many diseases that roses get. You can see they've ended up having to remove quite a few, but the dianthus filling in look amazing. And overall, this is just such a beautiful garden, intended to be a backdrop for weddings. Hopefully, sooner than later, that will be able to happen again here at the Ralston Arboretum. I hope you'll be inspired to come visit the JC Ralston Arboretum sometime. They are open weekdays from noon to 4:30, and soon they're going to be having extended hours. And just take in all of the beautiful plants that they grow, including all of the fragrant roses here in the rose garden. So here I am at my house, and I know I said I'm not a rose person, but I wanted to show you the couple that I have. So this one actually predates me. When I moved here 10 years ago, actually, yeah, 11 years ago, this water oak was like 5 foot tall. It was just a seedling that a squirrel had planted. And at the base of it was this rose, and I was like, wow, you know, this rose is pretty healthy. And look, it grows all the way up into the branches. I should do a better job staking it. I'm going to actually train these to get out of the way, maybe today. But what I love about them is that they are fragrant. My friend Tim from the Ralston Arboretum informed me that this is actually the understock, that this would have been a grafted rose and the desirable species died. And what I'm left with is this, I think, really extraordinary, fragrant, vigorous understock. I am really bad that I have not kept track of names of any of these roses. But you can see this one is actually in a lot of shade. Here it is, you know, seeded in with Nigella that's just about to bloom and some Carolina Moonlight Baptisia. This one is also really, really fragrant. It's just a sweet, soft pink. But I don't know that I have the name of it. Now here's the rose that I fall deeply in love with every year at this time. And then in the middle of summer when I have to prune it or I accidentally get nicked by it, I am like, why do I grow this? But this one is also really fragrant. It's like everything that a rose is supposed to be. Gotta give it a sniff. Oh my gosh, it's heavenly. And I got this actually from my former boss, Dr. Parks. He said it was the only rose worth growing in North Carolina because it didn't get all the diseases and wasn't a bug magnet, and it's a French name. I don't know it at all. It's when I'm not interested in a plant, I don't really register a lot of information about it. And this is sort of the perfect spot for it. This is on the edge of my property. I'm actually standing in my neighbor's yard right now. But so it doesn't really offend anyone over here. And it's just growing up through this shrub border that, was planted for privacy. But I should probably make an arrangement. Last year, Abby and I actually made rose petal water from this. I'll add some info about that. So the rose water was Abby's idea. She wanted to make some to spray on her hair and face. So we just gathered rose petals and cooked them down in water and some olive oil. So you were trying to be like the stuff that she buys. We added rosemary, then we just strained it all out. She added it to ball jars. And then we used it all year. We just kept it frozen for longevity. So the last rose that I have, or at least I think, is this, again, really fragrant. You can tell. My guide for, or my purpose for growing a rose is for its smell. Why would I want to grow something that's thorny beast if you at least don't get that fragrance? But this is one that I think I underestimated. I thought it was a bush rose, and you see it's growing quite tall. It's not blooming as well this year, and I think that's because this Prunus mume has gotten so big. And I will tell you all, I'm starting to freak out about having so much shade. And it's so funny because 10 years ago, all I wanted was shade, and now I'm like, oh, but I could fix that by pruning this up a bit more, and I think the rose and really all of the other plants in this border would perform better. But this one I got from a friend in Florida, and I should remember the name, but I don't. And it really is reliable for the Southeast. It's just why I should remember the name. I don't treat roses with anything. Like, if they get sick, they come out. I don't have any patience for spraying toxic chemicals on a plant that basically doesn't facilitate a purpose, especially if they don't have fragrance. But this one, really all the varieties I grow have needed no care. And so that's kind of the point of this. You want low maintenance roses. If only I could tell you the cultivars, this would be significantly more useful. So I forgot about this one, which is really my favorite. And I have it here next to my front door so I can enjoy it. It blooms throughout the summer. And it's actually been in this pot. I think this is its 4th year. I haven't done anything. I haven't fertilized it, haven't changed the soil. I've been contemplating maybe planting it in the ground. I think it deserves a permanent place. But this is the variety named for 4 Roses Bourbon. And this, to me, is just one of the most extraordinary roses that I have ever seen. It's such a deep red. It's a really good cut flower. It's got these, really sturdy stems. And it's not as fragrant as some. Oh, yes it is. You get up on it, and it smells exactly like what a rose is supposed to smell like. And like I said, I don't do anything to maintain roses. I just don't believe in that kind of maintenance. It's too much work. It's bad for the environment. And so you can see there's some sort of insect that's been eating my foliage. I don't care at all. It does not impact the plant's capacity to flower. And now that I'm standing here, I absolutely have to make a cut flower arrangement using some of these. Well, I'm not really prepared for filming myself, but I do hope this quick rose video will inspire you to either get out and enjoy some roses in other gardens like JCRA and Arboretum, or grow a few for yourself. But, you know, remember, if you don't want to make them high maintenance plants, you don't have to. You can just be like me, let them grow. All right, thanks everyone for watching. Have a great last day of April.